The massive warship Bloodfang drifted through the outer rim of the Sol system, its hull painted with the symbols of 1,000 conquered worlds. Inside the command bridge, Captain Vex of the Iron Claw Mercenary Company studied the blue-green planet on his view screen. His forearms clicked together in anticipation, while his reptilian eyes narrowed with greed. Another primitive world, his lieutenant, a six-legged creature named Krill, hissed through razor teeth. The database says they call themselves humans. Just achieved basic spaceflight 50 cycles ago. Should be easy prey. Vex laughed, a sound like grinding metal. The Iron Claws were known across 3 galaxies as the most feared mercenary group in existence. They had toppled empires, enslaved entire species, and never lost a single engagement in their 500-year history. When civilizations heard the Iron Claws were coming, they surrendered immediately rather than face annihilation. "Send thee." "Standard message," Vex commanded. "Surrender or die." "Give them 1 rotation of their planet to decide." The message was transmitted to Earth in every known language. Within hours, a response came back. A single human appeared on their communication screen, a middle-aged man in a military uniform with tired eyes and graying hair. He identified himself as General Tom Williams of the United Earth Defense Force. "We received your message," Tom said calmly, sipping from a white cup that read, "World's Best Dad. Here's our counteroffer. Leave now, and we won't hurt you." The bridge erupted in laughter. Krill nearly fell over, his 6 legs tangling together. Even the usually stoic navigator Groot, a creature made of living crystal, flickered with amusement. "They think they can hurt us?" Krill wheezed between laughs. "These primitives who just discovered antimatter?" Vex wiped tears from his 3 eyes. "Did you hear that, crew? The humans won't hurt us." He turned back to the screen. "Little human, we have conquered species that had achieved faster than light. Travel for millennia. We have weapons that can crack planets like eggs. What could you possibly?" Tom held up a hand. "Look, I'm trying to be nice here. We've been monitoring your approach for weeks. We know all about the Iron Claws. Very impressive. Resume. But here's the thing, Earth is what you folks call a Deathworld. Category 12 on your danger scale." "Impossible," Groot's crystalline form chimed. "No Deathworld exceeds Category 9. The physics alone would." "Yeah, about that," Tom interrupted, taking another sip of coffee. "Your scientists never actually visited one above Category 9, did they? They just assumed nothing could survive there. Surprise we did. For millions of years, we evolved here. We think your Category 9 worlds are pretty nice, actually." "Great. Vacation spots." Vex snarled, his patience exhausted. "Enough talk. Deploy the shock troops. Take their capital cities. Show these primitives what real warriors look like." 100 drop pods launched from the Bloodfang, each containing 10 of the Iron Claw's finest soldiers. These were beings who had trained in 3G gravity, who could survive in toxic atmospheres, who had reflexes faster than most species could even perceive. They were armed with plasma weapons, personal force fields, and armor that could withstand direct hits from artillery. The pods streaked through Earth's atmosphere, landing in major cities across the globe. In New York, London, Tokyo, Moscow, and dozens of other locations, the Iron Claw's warriors emerged, ready to spread terror and destruction. What happened next would become legend throughout the galaxy. In New York, a squad of Iron Claw warriors marched down Fifth Avenue, their plasma rifles charging. The taxi driver named Mike stepped out of his yellow cab, looked at the 10-foot-tall, 4-armed warriors, and sighed. "Great, another Tuesday in New York," he muttered, pulling out his phone. To record, "Hey, buddy," he called to the lead warrior. "You can't park those pods there. That's a fire lane." The warrior, confused by the human's complete lack of fear, raised his plasma rifle. Before he could fire, Mike grabbed a manhole cover and frisbeed it at the alien's head. The 20-pound metal disc, thrown with Earth gravity-evolved muscles, struck the warrior's helmet with the force of a small artillery shell. The alien dropped unconscious. His squad mates stared in shock as Mike casually picked up another manhole cover. Anyone else blocking traffic? Asterisk back on the Bloodfang. Warning signals flooded the command center. Squad after squad was going dark, their life signs either flatlined or showing extreme distress. Vex watched in growing horror as his tactical display showed red markers spreading across Earth's surface, each one representing a failed Iron Claw unit. What's happening down there? He roared, his scales shifting from green to purple with rage. Krill frantically worked his console, pulling up battlefield footage from the helmet cameras of their troops. What they saw defied everything they knew about combat. In London, an elderly human woman named Margaret had beaten 3 Iron Claw warriors, unconscious with what appeared to be a walking stick. She wasn't even breathing hard. Impossible, Krill muttered. Their warriors are civilians, and they're winning? The footage switched to Tokyo, where a group of human children were playing something they called soccer, with an Iron Claw warrior's helmet, while the warrior himself sat tied to a lamppost with what looked like shopping bags. The children were laughing, kicking the helmet between them with force that would shatter most species' legs. Groot's crystalline form flickered with confusion. Captain, I'm reading the planet's gravity. It's 9.8 meters per second squared. These humans evolved in gravity that would crush most of our troops within minutes. That's not all. Another crew member, a tentacled being named Squish, added with growing alarm. Their atmosphere, it's 21% oxygen. That's basically rocket fuel. It's corrosive, toxic to most life forms. And they breathe it constantly. Their entire biology runs on controlled combustion. Vex stared at the screen in disbelief as more reports came in. In Moscow, a single human police officer named Ivan had taken down an entire Iron Claw platoon using nothing but what the humans called judo, apparently a recreational activity they did for fun. The officer was now serving the captured aliens hot tea and cookies while they waited for proper authorities to arrive. Sir, Krill's voice shook, I'm analyzing their biology now. These humans, they have internal skeletons made of calcium, basically rock. Their muscles can exert forces that exceed our power armor's maximum output. They heal from injuries that would kill us instantly. They can survive temperatures from -40 to +50 of their measurement system. They consume toxic substances like alcohol and capsaicin for recreation. The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. They hadn't invaded a primitive world. They had attacked a planet of super predators who thought wars were entertainment and poisoned themselves. For fun, on the main screen, General Tom appeared again, still holding his coffee mug. So, how's the invasion going? Need us to send medical assistance to your troops? Most of them seem to have passed out from exhaustion. Our gravity's a bit much for them, isn't it? You ... You knew, Vex accused, his voice hollow. You knew we couldn't handle your world. Tom nodded sympathetically. We tried to warn you. See, we've been monitoring galactic communications for decades. We know the Iron Claw's reputation. Impressive stuff. But here's what you don't understand. Humans didn't become the dominant species on Earth by being the strongest or fastest. We did it by being the most stubborn, adaptable, and frankly, the most insane species on our planet. Insane? Vex repeated. Oh yeah. We used to hunt mammoth by chasing them until they died of exhaustion. We domesticated wolves, apex predators, and turned them into pets. We split atoms for power generation. We strap ourselves to controlled explosions and call it going to space. We have sports where we hit each other for fun. Our children play fight with more force than your soldiers can generate." Tom paused, letting that sink in. "But here's the really scary part for you. We're not even trying yet. Your soldiers attacked our civilians. Our actual military hasn't even mobilized, although—" He checked his watch. "They should be arriving at your position right about ... now." Alarm screamed across the Bloodfang's bridge. 300 human vessels appeared on their sensors, having somehow approached undetected. They were smaller than the Iron Claw warship, but their energy signatures were terrifying. Each one was powered by contained antimatter reactions technology. The humans had apparently been hiding. "Captain!" Squish screamed. "They're targeting our engines with something called ... Railguns? They're accelerating metal projectiles too. Oh, by the void. That's 0.3% the speed of light." Vex's scales went white with fear. These humans were using kinetic weapons at relativistic speeds. The sheer insanity of it. Who would even think to throw rocks that fast? The first railgun slug hit the Bloodfang's rear shields with the force of a small nuclear weapon. The entire ship lurched forward, throwing crew members across the bridge. The shields, designed to deflect energy weapons, crumpled like paper against pure kinetic force. "Return fire." Vex screamed, green blood dripping from where he'd struck his head against a console. The Iron Claw's plasma cannons opened up, sending brilliant beams of superheated gas toward the human fleet. A human's response was swift and bizarre. They flew directly into the attacks, using their ship's hulls to absorb the energy. "Captain, their ship's ... Krill's voice was filled with awe and horror. "The hulls are made of some kind of ablative armor that actually feeds on energy weapons. They're converting our attacks into power for their systems." On the communication screen, General Tong reappeared, now joined by a younger woman in a naval uniform. "Captain Vex, meet Admiral Jane Foster. She's in charge of our Space Force." "Admiral, would you like to explain to our guests what's about to happen?" Jane smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. It was the kind of smile that Earth's predators had been perfecting for millions of years, the smile of something that knew it was about to eat. "Captain Vex," she began, her voice professional, but carrying an undertone that made every alien on the bridge instinctively back away from the screen. "You have one chance to surrender. Call back your forces, leave our system, and never return. Otherwise, we're going to have to demonstrate why humans are classified as a Category 12 Deathworld species." "You're bluffing," Vex said, but his voice lacked conviction. "No species could—" "We're persistence hunters," Jane interrupted. "Do you know what that means? Our ancestors would pick an animal and just ... follow it for hours. Days sometimes. We'd walk after it at a steady pace while it ran, rested, ran again. Eventually, it would collapse from exhaustion, and we'd walk up and kill it with rocks. That's how we hunted before we even invented proper weapons." She let that image sink in. "Now we've applied that same psychology to warfare. We don't need to be stronger or faster. We just need to outlast you. Your troops on the ground? They've been fighting for what, 30 minutes? They're exhausted. Our people? They're just warming up. Some of them jog for fun for longer than your soldiers can fight." As if to prove her point, new footage appeared on the tactical display. In Sydney, a group of humans had organized what they called a CrossFit competition using captured Iron Claw equipment. They were lifting the aliens' heavy weapons over their heads repeatedly, timing each other and cheering. The Iron Claw prisoners watched in horrified fascination as humans treated their military gear like toys. "But here's what really should scare you," Jane continued. "Humans pack bond with anything. Our soldiers down there? They've probably already named your troops, made up backstories for them. Give us a week, and we'll be teaching them our sports and sharing meals. We domesticated wolves, Captain. We made friends with our predators. What do you think we'll do with you? Vex's mind reeled. These creatures were insane. They formed emotional connections with their enemies. They hunted by walking. They exercised for entertainment using weights that would cripple most species. Sir, Groot's crystalline form was pulsing with panic. I've been analyzing their history. These humans, they've been killing each other in massive wars for thousands of years. Their weapons technology advanced from sharpened sticks to nuclear fusion in less than 10,000 years. Their entire technological evolution has been driven by finding new ways to kill things, including each other. And yet they survive, Tom added, having overheard. We nuked ourselves, created plagues, poisoned our air and water, and we're still here. Getting stronger, learning, adapting. We're the species that looked at extinction events and said, bet we could survive that. The human ships had surrounded the Blood Fang now, not firing, just waiting, like persistence hunters, like predators, who knew their prey was already caught. Your move, Captain, Jane said. Surrender or find out what happens when you really make humans angry. Because so far, you've only seen us being nice. We haven't even deployed what we call war crimes, yet weapons so horrible that we banned ourselves from using them on each other. But you're not human. So, she shrugged, the gesture somehow more terrifying than any threat. Vex looked around. His bridge, his crew, the most feared mercenaries in the galaxy, were trembling. These humans had taken everything they knew about warfare and turned it inside out. Asterisk. Captain Vex's 4 hands trembled as he reached for the communication console. In 500 years of Iron Claw history, they had never surrendered, never retreated, never failed. But then again, they had never encountered humans before. We ... Vex's voice cracked. He cleared his throat and tried again. We wish to discuss terms. General Tom nodded gravely, though Vex caught what might have been amusement in his eyes. Smart choice. Admiral Foster, would you like to handle this? Jane leaned forward, her expression becoming serious. Here are our terms, Captain. First, immediate recall of all your forces. Second, you'll publicly broadcast throughout the galaxy that Earth is under Iron Claw protection, a no-go zone for any hostile force. Third, you'll share your star maps and translation databases with us. That's all? Vex asked, confused. No tribute? No slaves? No technology transfer? Tom and Jane exchanged glances. Slaves? Tom said, his voice dropping dangerously. Captain, humans have a very particular history with slavery. If we found out you kept slaves. He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. We freed them. Krill blurted out, his 6 legs clicking nervously on the deck. Just now, all of them. Liberation orders sent to all Iron Claw territories. Good choice, Jane said dryly. As for tribute, what would we do with it? We're still figuring out how to spend money efficiently on our own planet. And your technology? She gestured dismissively. No offense, but we've been reverse engineering your crashed scouts for decades. Your faster-than-light drive is nice, but we were maybe 5 years from cracking it ourselves. On the tactical display, reports continued streaming in from Earth's surface. In Berlin, a group of Iron Claw warriors had been invited to what humans called a beer garden. The footage showed massive aliens sitting at wooden tables, tentatively sipping fermented poison alcohol, while humans cheered them on. One warrior had already passed out, not from the alcohol, but from the shock of humans voluntarily drinking. Neurotoxins for celebration. Your people, Vex said slowly, they're not killing our warriors. They single quotes socializing with them. I told you, Jane said. Humans pack bond with everything. Last year, a maintenance worker on the International Space Station named the cleaning robot and threw it a birthday party. You think we won't adopt a bunch of big, scary aliens who are basically just doing their jobs? As if to prove her point, another report came in from Rio de Janeiro. The Iron Claw warriors there had been challenged to something called a football match. The aliens, with their multiple limbs and superior coordination, thought they'd easily win. The footage showed them losing 10-0, unable to keep up with humans who had been playing since childhood and treated the sport like warfare. This is insane. Vex muttered. Your entire species is insane. Oh, absolutely, Tom agreed cheerfully. We know we're crazy. We've known for centuries. We have a saying, humans are space orcs. We're the monsters that other monsters fear. But here's the secret, we know how to control it. Usually. Usually? Vex's scales shifted to a worried yellow. Well, we try to be nice first. Like now. We could have destroyed your ship the moment you entered our system. Instead, we talked. We gave you a chance. That's what makes us different from mindless monsters. We choose when to be monsters. The bridge of the Bloodfang fell silent. Through the viewports, they could see Earth floating serenely in space, blue and green and white. It looked so peaceful, so harmless. Nothing about its appearance suggested it was home to the galaxy's most terrifying predators. There's one more thing, Jane added. We want a cultural exchange program. Some of your people stay here, some of ours go with you. Let the galaxy know that humans are coming. Peacefully, if possible. You want to spread? Vex asked, horrified. Throughout the galaxy? Why not? Tom shrugged. We're explorers. It's what we do. We walked out of Africa and conquered every continent. On Earth, including the frozen wastelands of Antarctica, just to see if we could. You think we're going to stop at one planet? Vex imagined humans spreading throughout the galaxy, teaching other species their insane sports, sharing their toxic foods, forming emotional bonds with every species they met, persistence hunting across the stars. We accept your terms, he said quickly, before he could think about it too much. Asterisk. 6 months after the failed invasion of Earth, the galaxy had changed forever. The Iron Claw's broadcast had spread to every civilized system, carrying a simple message. Earth was protected, and humans were coming. Captain Vex stood in the council. Chambers of the Galactic Assembly, addressing representatives from 1,000 worlds. Behind him stood 3 humans' ambassador Tom. He'd gotten a promotion. Admiral Jane, and surprisingly, Mike the New York taxi driver, who had somehow become Earth's cultural ambassador after his manhole cover incident went viral across human social media. Honored representatives, Vex began, his voice carrying across the vast chamber. I stand before you to deliver a warning and a promise. The warning, never ever attack Earth. The promise, humans want to be friends. A crystalline being from the Andromeda delegation chimed in. Captain Vex, the Iron Claws have never failed before. What makes these humans so dangerous? Vex's 4 arms gestured helplessly. How do I explain? They're from a world where everything tries to kill them, so they evolved to be unkillable. They have redundant organs. They can lose limbs and survive. They walk off injuries that would kill us instantly. One of their sports involves jumping from flying vehicles with only fabric to slow their fall. They call it fun. Mike leaned into his microphone. Hey, skydiving's perfectly safe. Usually. Well, sometimes. Okay, it's basically controlled falling, but that's what makes it exciting. The assembly murmured in alarm. But that's not the worst part, Vex continued. They're innovative in ways that shouldn't be possible. In 6 months, they've improved our FTL drives by 30%. They looked at our medical technology and asked, why don't you just use targeted viruses to cure diseases? They suggested using black holes for power generation. Their solution to every problem is either make friends with it or hit it harder. Jane stood up to address the assembly. If I may, honored representatives, humans don't want to conquer the galaxy. We want to explore it, meet new species. Try your foods, even the poisonous ones. We'll probably find a way to make them edible. We want to share our music, our art, our stories, and yes, our sports. Who here wants to try bungee jumping? No hands or appendages rose. Your loss, Mike, muttered Dot. A gelatinous representative from the Sigma sector oozed forward. You speak of friendship, but your history is filled with violence. Wars, genocides, environmental destruction. Why should we trust you? Tom stood up, his expression serious. You're right. Our history is dark. We've done terrible things to each other and our planet. But that's exactly why you should trust us. We've seen what happens when fear and hatred win. We've learned from our mistakes. We've survived our worst impulses and chosen to be better. Can every species here say the same? The chamber fell silent. Many couldn't. Besides, Tom added with a slight smile, you've already seen what happens when you attack us. Now imagine what we could do as allies. Human medics treating diseases you thought were incurable. Human engineers solving problems with solutions so insane they actually work. Human soldiers standing between you and whatever threatens you, too stubborn to die. And human restaurants, Mike added enthusiastically. Pizza, sushi, tacos will blow your minds, or whatever you think with. Over the following weeks, the first human vessels began appearing in alien ports. The crews were carefully selected. Scientists, diplomats, artists, and inevitably, a few adrenaline junkies who just wanted to see the universe. What followed was the beginning of what historians would call the Great Uplift. Humans didn't conquer the galaxy with weapons. They conquered it with curiosity, stubbornness, and an inexplicable ability to make friends with anything. The Zorbian species, living on a high-gravity world, discovered humans were the only ones who could visit without mechanical assistance. They became instant allies. The ethereal collective, beings of pure energy, were fascinated by human consciousness and spent months studying how humans could be so chaotic yet organized. Even the Hive Queen of Sector 9, a massive insectoid that had eaten previous ambassadors, found herself playing what humans called chess with a 90-year-old human grandmother named Betty, who reminded the Queen of her own brood mother. Captain Vex watched all of this from his command ship, now serving as an escort for human exploration vessels. His Lieutenant Krill stood beside him. Do you regret attacking Earth? Krill asked. Vex considered the question. No, if we hadn't attacked, we wouldn't have learned the truth. The humans were coming to the stars eventually. Better we learned to be friends than enemies. On the view screen, a human child was teaching young Zorbians how to play hopscotch in 3G gravity. The galaxy would never be the same. And somehow, that was exactly what it needed. Asterisk.